Hey everybody, it's Kelly and I'm back with a layout for Cheeky Studios. This is the October 2018 on the cover kit that I'm using. This is my second layout for the month with this kit. So this kit has a ton of ephemera that has to do with reading and books. So I'm going to use this photo of me reading at lunch a couple of weeks ago on a really warm October day, which is unusual because I live in Wisconsin, and those days we're not normally in the mid 80s in October. So I loved this paper so much, and then the other paper I'm going to use. So I went into my little stash of cardstock that I didn't use from a previous kit, and this was from the September 2018 kit, that I'm just going to use that cardstock as a background to glue everything to, so that I can use as little of each of the sheets of paper as I possibly can. So I love this. The book images here are pretty realistic, not completely, but pretty realistic. And then I'm going to take this, and that paper is the from Wild Whisper, the One More Chapter line, as is that yellow paper that I'm going to use as well. And then I'm going to cut this border off of, I'm trying to remember which of the two papers that came from, and I'm not quite sure. Anyway, I cut the border off one of the papers. Oh, it's from the top paper, the border from the top paper. And then I'm going to use some of the ephemera, so those books and the little phrase there that says "so many books, so little time," and that comes from the on the cover ephemera kit. That's where the die cuts are coming from, or not the on the cover ephemera. That is from the October kit, but you can also get it from. You can also get it separately. And don't forget, if you order something from a Cheeky Studio except for the kit, you can get 10% off if you use my code Kelly10, and it's just KELLY 10. There'll be a little reminder there at the end too. So then I wanted some sort of mat for the photo, so I cut that saying about tea, which I loved, from the paper, from that cut apart paper. And I'm just going to mount it over the black words and use that. And what I did is I actually turned it a little bit so that it ombreed from one side to the other. I'm going to turn it so that it's dark to light from top to bottom, or from bottom to top actually. Then there are some frames in this particular kit, and those are an exclusive to the kit. They're Cheeky Studio exclusive. And I'm going to use that frame. And frames are my kryptonite in scrapbooking. I have a really hard time using them. I did grab that tab, and I can't remember what month that was. It was July or August from one of the from either the July or August kit, and I tried to use it, but I'm going to just tell you it doesn't work out. That's why I don't know for sure what month it's from. And looking at putting it over the top, and I have to apologize here because my camera actually dropped because one of the screws in the arm wasn't tight enough, and I thought about doing another layout, but I had a plan for my third layout for the month, and when I looked, I would not have had enough like papers to do another layout, and I really love the way this layout turned out, so I wanted to show you as much as I could. It gets a little low from time to time, but it's really not too bad. So what I'm doing now is I was going to grab a scrap piece of cardstock that I used to kind of stamp off or just sample stamps, but that didn't really work out. There was a little black mark on it, so I just went into my stash of scrap papers and grabbed this kind of has a model or marbly effect to it, which I think works really well with those background book papers. It is the only paper on here that doesn't have the shiny surface to it, so I was a little worried about how that was going to look, but it actually comes out okay because these Wild Whisper pieces and then all of the ephemera pieces from Cheeky Studio this month have a glossier finish to them. Definitely the Wild Whisper papers are very, very glossy. But I found that I'm able to use both my ATG, and I've also used my Scotch quick dry adhesive, whatever that's called now. That's not the, I don't know if that's the right name for it, but anyway, that adhesive works well on this as well too. So now I'm just kind of pasting things down here and playing around with how I'm going to arrange the books with that "so many books, so little time" word there. And I like the way that looks. At the end of this, I'll make sure that I leave the still shot of this up for a little bit longer than I normally do, just so you can take a quick look at any details that you think you may have missed. I think you only kind of miss one thing that you really can't see me do, and I'll tell you where that comes in. So what I'm doing now is I'm thinking about maybe using this twine. I really like the twine, but I was going to make a loop of it, and it just felt funny to me. I watch like Shmel do this all the time, and it just looked goofy when I did it. So now I've taken that thread bow. I used the orange one, and now I'm looking at the yellow one, and I put the orange one on the bottom, which, like I said, I'm sorry you can't see, but I decide not to put it there, and I go back to using the orange ones. That comes from the Maggie Holmes Willow Lane thread bows, and that was in the August 2018 Cheeky Studio kit. So now what I did here is I didn't love the way that little phrase was hanging down from the top, so I actually just moved it to the side. I was thinking about putting that tab up there, but that still didn't work, but I really liked the way that phrase looked on the side there, so I left it. So now what I'm doing is I am using the enamel dots and hearts, enamel hearts and circles from the Project Life Inspire enamel stickers, and so I'm going to put 2 down in that lower cluster there, plus the heart there. So there's 2 by the die cut books and the "so many books" phrase there that you can't see again, sorry. And then I put that heart up at the top, and like I said, I'll make sure that I leave that, and see, I'm just fooling around with where that goes. So you're missing that a little bit. The best laid plans of a YouTuber, guys. And I think I bring this up just a little bit at the end, but I don't know if you can still see it. And I didn't realize this until, I think actually after I had uploaded the video to my laptop for processing. So anyway, now I'm just getting that frame down. It was sticking up a little bit on that side, and I didn't like the way that looked, so I'm just making sure that I'm getting that down. I love how versatile this is. So far I've done a layout about wine and a layout about books with this particular kit, which actually are the 2 main themes with it. 2 things I enjoy very much, so this made me very happy. Alright, now I have grabbed the Maggie Holmes stickers from the Carousel collection. The name of that alpha is Maggie, and I love the like turquoise ombre that is, and I think it goes really well with this kit. It does stand out against that book paper, but not so much that it would bother you. So I'm going to use the word lunch here, and I don't have a C, so I'm going to grab a Q, and I'll eventually turn that into the C. And I was thinking about using my lunch, but I didn't like the way that looked. I thought there was too much space still across the 2 photos there at the top. So I'm going to spell out the words lunch read. And again, this is a story about me reading on my a really warm day, and I do tend to read even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes on every lunch hour. All right, guys, this is the end. There will be a still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and I'll be back with another layout again soon. Bye!